Saludos y bienvenidos a todos to the PGP podcast. Hey, everybody, Josh Doan, proud principal of Memorial Pathway Academy in Garland, ISD, Garland, USA. Ready to rock and roll, and like always, stars all the way around us. You know what? This podcast is like a universe. We're just surrounded with stars, bringing in the knowledge and the nuggets for everybody else. So I want to thank you, whoever you're watching it right now, you're watching a rebroadcast. Thank you very much for giving us some of your time, because there's tons of podcasts out there. There's tons of literature, Edutopia, Education Week. That lady writes for them. You could do all those things, but you gave us some of your time, and that is a crucial gift that we have in life. It's time, and so you're sharing it with us. Thank you very much. Remember that we are part of the Fantastic Four Network. Fantastic Four Network with Sean Hurt every Saturday at 10 o'clock, every Saturday, 10 o'clock. You want to know about data, about the growth charts, whether you're in Texas or not in Texas, that's your cat right there. He'll have virtual meetings with you. He'll go to your campus, whatever it is. You want to know about the system doctors, Shika Houston, Tammy Taylor. They have a systems network, a systems platform on how to change the culture of your campus, amongst other things. I'm trying not to steal away from them. But closing off the weekend, Principal Cafele, El Jefe, who might not be very happy right now because his Giants lost again. But it's okay. You know what? It is okay. Remember, it's all free PD for you. And you know and I know that we're broke in education. We ain't got the moolah right now. So all this is free for you. So if you want to be part of the show, we need you. We need people from South Dakota. I haven't had any South Dakotans. We need people from Idaho. Come on, Idaho. We need people from Wyoming. Come on and join us. Why? Because it's the same issues that we all face, just with a little twist. Obviously, with a little twist, but in the end, we are in the best profession out there. The profession that creates all the other professions, education. And we are on the same team, and we need to get those nuggets from each other. Hey, Moreno, ¿cómo estás? Where are you? How are you?
I'm great. And look at me, Josh. I'm sporting my colors. I'm supporting you, sir. Memorial Pathway Academy right here, Jaguars. I'm doing great. You do not see my spiders because I am not home. I am not in Houston, Texas today. I am actually in South Texas in the RGV in the 956. And they have their first football team here at UT RGV. This is their third game. They are undefeated. Oh my God. It's crazy down here. They are the Vaqueros. Yes. If you see them, go online and search. They destroyed this game yesterday. It was like 81-0.
Be nice, Vaqueros. That's not nice. Be nice.
It's been a lot of fun. There's a lot of energy down here. It's so much fun. And I'm down here. I'm supporting my good friend, Dr. E.T., and doing some work down here in the RGV area. And I'll be going back to the Houston area. I have some work up there to do next week. So super excited. Look at Miguel Castillo is talking about Vámonos Vaqueros. They're on fire, Josh, on fire. No one ever thought, I think, because, I mean, who's going to destroy a school like 81-0? That's crazy.
Right. Now tell people, like, I know Tony, he don't know what RGV is. He's like, what are you talking about? What does that mean? Adam in Florida, he don't know what that is. Tell him what that is.
Well, RGV is the Rio Grande Valley. Most people assume San Antonio is the southern peak of Texas, and that is not even true. There's still another 4 or 5 hours going south of that. So RGV consists of, it's a population right here near the border of Mexico. And so it's like, I'm like 5 miles. Yeah, about 5 miles away from the border right now. And so you can see the border between Mexico and the US. And there's a lot of people down here. And it's just amazing. The culture, the food, the environment, the tradition, the cultura. It is just an amazing place down here, and I love it. So
thank you for sharing and educating people out there that might not know about what or where the RGV is. And you know what? It's time for the Chinchilagua moment. And today, I don't want to give an example or a thought that I normally have, because I want to give everybody some information. First of all, I want to share with you, Mari, and soon we'll be coming to your area, close by your area. So the goal was to start getting people in the DFW area, Dallas Fort Worth area, Houston area, San Antonio, is to start connecting us. And so yeah, I reached out to a lot of people. You know, the podcast gives you bridges to individuals from across the country and in the state of Texas. So yesterday we got together with a handful of educators, or David Arencibia, Jana Clark, Dr. Hutchinson, Esperanza Hiltz. It was 5 of us, and more wanted to come, but just that there's never a right time at the start of school. You know, it's homecoming and it's all those things. So the goal is to get together with a PLN of like-minded individuals. No charging fees, none of that nonsense. Just breaking bread, sharing stories, helping each other out, making connections. So, we had our first one, and the goal is to later on meet you halfway in to Houston. I think it's like 3 hours. We'll meet halfway, like an hour and a half there. Same thing there with Miguel in San Antonio, with Martin Silverman, Jeff Springer. Meet halfway. Just create a nucleus, a connection that, it's always best. We know this in our Hispanic culture, is breaking bread is the best way of building bonds with each other. And then there's another thing that we're gonna I like to recommend to everybody out there. Joshua Stamper and Charlie Peck, past guests on our podcast, they're gonna have a free PD on the 16th and the 17th, and it's gonna be from
what month?
This month, in tomorrow, 2 days from now.
Yes, 16th of September.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for correcting me. Appreciate it. Yes, from 5 to 9 p.m. And it's 26 national speakers. They brought together Jimmy Casas, Joe Sanfilippo, Darren Peppert, Andrea Bittner, Jonathan Cranford, who's been here 3 times, Chris Culver, who's been here twice, Lainey Rawl, TJ Vari, Superintendent Joseph Jones, Julie Hansen. I mean, tons of national speakers. And they have it on the website, and I'll post it on all our platforms. I have been. It's free. Sign up, free materials. Log into your sessions. The title of it is School Behavior Solutions. School Behavior Solutions. It's all free PD for you. So I posted out to our campus, to our team members, if they wanted to join it. That's also part of their T-test. T-test in Texas is their evaluation. I said you could use this on dimension number 4, which is your ongoing professional development, something that we're talking to before we hit the show, started the show today. So take these opportunities out there, educators. Take the free opportunities to ensure that you sharpen those tools. Though the year started, we know that we're around the corner. We're already midway September.
Yes.
Before you know it, we hit that first Hiroshima time, which is November. That's when the knives come out, baby. And then we hit another Nagasaki time, like around March, April. So let's do that preventive maintenance. Let's get that PD in to make sure that we're prepared and we have the right tools for the right obstacles in the near future. What are your thoughts there, Moreno?
I love it, Josh. I love it. And you know what? Let me just throw it out there now, because I know a lot of people you just said it. Some people don't even know what the RGV is all about. We are actually going to put together our second annual border conference. And so it's going to be here. We're going to go to the border wall. We're going to go see, what does a border wall look like? What is life like? There's so many people who have misinformation about what's going on in the RGV and how students how this country is protected, because people are concerned. They want to know, like, what in the world is going on. So we're going to put a border conference. It'll be our second annual, and so I'll put some information out. But you're absolutely right, Josh. We have to put that PD in. We got to learn. We got to sharpen our tools, because you know what, life is School comes by and goes really fast. I mean, we're in September already. I was walking into a classroom the other day, and the kids they are on fire right now. But you know what? That fire tends to kind of go down a little bit, especially like you said, come late October, November-ish. So how do we keep that fire going? So love it. Love what you're saying, because it's fact.
Hashtag keep the joy. Keep the joy. So before we get into our panel, we have had 4 previous principal roundtables. So if you want to check out show 12, 18, 21, and 50, there's like around 16 principals from all over the United States. Check it out. Again, episode 12, 18, 21, and 50. You can find them all on our YouTube channel. So right now, stop what you're doing. Go like it and share it. Go to YouTube, like it and share it so you can find them. But now it's time for Nevada to come in. It's time for North Texas to come in. It's time for Nebraska, who's rubbing it in because their college team won. And it's time for Florida to come in the house. Welcome, awesome panel, awesome guests. Muchas gracias for being here. So I would like for you, because you know what? I think we all know this. You know, we have a lot of seasoned veterans here. We like to know that when someone talks to us, they got the street cred. They got the receipts. If not, we're gonna be on our phones just like the kids are. Like, come on, man. If you're gonna talk to me, you better have the receipts.
Not in Texas, they're banned.
Oh, not in Texas. It's true. It's true. Very true. So I was going to start off there in Nevada right now. I don't know if he's still awake or not awake after last night's 1 a.m. fight. But hey, Tony, tell the audience a little bit of your background. Let us know the different roles that you've served in: coach, teacher, content, stuff like that. And out of all those, which one, sir, has been your favorite? And do not be a politician.
Politicians are not allowed in schools. That's not a good thing. Hi, Robert from Vegas. I am principal at Tyrone Thompson, which I was blessed to have been appointed to open in 2020, right in the middle of the pandemic. So that was a challenge, but a challenge I needed at the time. And then I'm also a speaker and author. I have 9 educational books on Amazon, 2 murder mysteries, but we don't want to talk about those. And number 10 is coming out probably by the end of the month. My favorite job of what I do, I would say, I love being principal. That's number 1. Hanging out with the kids. No matter what happens with speaking or books, being principal is number 1. But if I have to go outside of that, there's nothing better than inspiring people with my presentation and message at conferences or schools or districts.
Hey, I heard that cat right there, and NASSP, he's on fire. Invite that cat to your school. Let me tell you, that guy is on fire. Out of North Texas, my sister, just a throwaway, Melissa. Introduce yourself to the audience.
Hi, guys. I'm Melissa Harvey. I am in Fate, Texas, outside of DFW. I've been a substitute, a paraprofessional. I've been a coach. I've been an assistant principal and a principal. Currently, I'm building a new school. It's my second new build. And so I'm not on a campus. I would say my favorite part was being on a campus with kids. I miss that more than anything. And so I would say that this should be my favorite, and it will be, but it's not right now.
Got it. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Out in Florida, where there's a bunch of gators. I don't know what the difference between a gator and a crocodile is, but Adam is in the house. Talk to us.
Hey, it's good to see everybody. I'm down in Tampa, Florida. So I've bounced around. I've been a teacher at elementary, middle, high school. Can tell you the goods, bads, ins and outs of all of them. I've served as a principal at middle school. I've served as a principal at high school. I love them all. I agree with Tony there. You know, the traveling, the keynoting, the workshop development, going to different states, going and meeting different people at different schools is definitely a highlight. But I tell you, being a high school teacher, working with seniors, getting them to that graduation stage. I mean, I don't know if there's a better feeling in the world as an educator than shaking hands and giving out diplomas.
Facts. The journey that started in Head Start finished with that diploma in the hand. Beautiful. And to this guy that I listen to him almost every morning, that podcast guru right there, Principal JL. Talk to us.
Hi, I'm Jeff Linden. I'm the Hastings High School principal, also known AKA Principal JL, where I have my educational leadership podcast, where I get to interview great guests like Josh up here and many more. So we'll get into that later. But for me, with my educational journey, I've taught, I've coached. I mean, now I'm a principal, but I've been in small rural schools in Nebraska as well as in the Omaha Metro. So I've been in small districts and large districts, teaching anybody from 7th grade through 12th grade. So I've seen the middle school and the high school age groups. What I enjoy the most about being a principal is the impact I could have on, the building level aspect. I have the mission, the goal, but I love helping people be successful and reach their goal. It doesn't matter if it's the adults in my building or the students in my building. I love them all, and I want to help them the best I can. And so that's where I find my joy in education, is helping the people learn and grow at every capacity. Because if I help my teachers get better, they're going to help my students get better. And I enjoy the podcasting because, just like Josh says, it's free PD, baby. And I listen to a lot of other people out there as well, with podcasting. And so it's just a fun way to get to know people. And I follow Robert on TikTok and IG. I've seen his principal perspectives out there. So he's got some great stuff as well. So it's just fun to be a part of this community of people that want to help people. And I enjoy that as well.
Thank you, panel, for that little intro. But before I hand it over to Dr. Moreno, big shout out to Miguel Castillo, who was part of our panel, EB panel. Aquí estamos, y pluribus unum, show number 2, just a couple of days ago. Dot McKeever Jeter, our cheerleader for the Fantastic Four. Constance Sherrard will be here in 3 weeks doing our Trauma Enforced program number 2. We also have Dr. Melissa Jones Jr., who will be invited to our Redwood meeting. Who else do we got? Welcome, guests. Welcome, everybody out there. Please like it and share it. Stick.
Guys, I am so happy to be with you guys today because as a former principal, I know what you guys are doing, and it is the best job. Let me tell you, I love it. But before we go into any further other questions, we need to talk a little bit about, or let just people know who or what inspired you to become an educator, because everybody had a different path, right? So Adam, we're going to start off with you. Who or what motivated you to become an educator in the first place?
I've always had amazing teachers. I mean, I can remember them elementary, middle, high school, college, and it's like I never had the thought of doing anything else because I always wanted to be the people that I spent all my time with. And I've talked to people. They're like, there's teachers you can't forget, and there's ones you wish you could. And it's like I always had the ones that I didn't want to forget that inspired me to do what I'm doing.
It's amazing how sometimes our teachers don't realize what they say and what they do really inspire us in the future to become like them. So thank you so much, Adam, for sharing. How about you, Jeff? Who or what inspired you to become an educator?
When it comes right down to it, I don't think there's like one person out there that really inspired me to become an educator. Because I'm telling you, becoming an educator was not something I was looking to do. When I graduated high school, I thought I was going to be a physical therapist at one point. A lot of people don't know this about me, but there was one time I was studying to be a youth pastor. And so I thought I was going to go that route. I've never really mentioned that to people, but I was basically working a factory job out at Baldwin Filters in Kearney, Nebraska. My older brother calls me up and says, hey, we need some people to help coach junior high football at a Kearney Catholic High School, or at that time would be junior high. And so I was like, well, I don't know much about that. And he just said, hey, whatever you learned in high school, use that. And I just fell in love with it. And so that's what pivoted me from going from, doing what I was doing and all these different things I was thinking about doing to getting into education. And so I just put together coaching, becoming a teacher, becoming an educator. That's where I wanted to go because that's where I would make the impact with people and students and it's just in a general impact. Plus, I love football and I wanted to coach football. And I thought I had it made. I was a head football coach and a teacher right out of the gate after spending 6 years coaching junior high and high school football at Kearney Catholic. But yeah, that's kind of the event that kind of spurred me on into education.
That's amazing. Coaching is the best. I know when I was a first-year teacher, I never thought I'd do coaching, but I was a high school basketball coach. And you know what? Coaching is a lot of fun, especially when you are able to kind of work in the classroom and support them outside of the classroom. Wow, it is such an amazing reward to kind of see them flourish in the classroom and out of the classroom. So thank you so much. How about you, Melissa? Who or what inspired you, my friend, to be an educator?
So this is going to be a common theme. It was my coaches. Like they gave me confidence. They gave me opportunities. And I got to be a coach first year too. And I was in awe because like nobody really wanted to be a teacher or an educator, but like the fact that I could coach, and then I ended up loving education at the same time.
Awesome. And you know what? Kids love that, right? They love the fact that they can do really, really well on the court, but then you inspire them to do really well in the classroom because they need that balance. They need to see that both are important. So awesome. Thank you, Melissa. And Robert, last but not least, sir, what inspired you or who motivated you?
So I have two people. I had when I was in high school, after I figured out I wasn't going to be able to play quarterback or point guard in the NBA, because I'm only 5'8". That didn't really, being 5'8", it wasn't really an option. But I had a free period, and I was able to be a teacher's aide in the resource room, and it was a young man named Sean. And I got to work one-on-one with Sean, and there was a point where he did something. I said, "Give me a high five," and he did. And right with that clap, I knew what I wanted to do. And then I also had a great principal in high school, Mr. Butler, who showed me that admin was the way to go. So I really wanted to be an educator, but I really also always wanted to be a principal, which I've done for the last 19 years.
Wow, look at you. You actually went all the way up to being a principal. Do you look at kind of going beyond being a principal or?
No, I don't have any desire to be superintendent. It's just, no, I'm going to stick to the speaking author principal gig until I can't do it anymore.
Awesome. Awesome. Guys, thank you so much. It sounds like, it's the people inside our schools that really inspired all of you to be who you are today. So it's amazing how we need to, again, remind our current teachers that are in our classrooms right now, what you say and what you do really matter because our kids are listening and they are the ones who are going to see you guys and then they're going to want to be like you. So awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Josh.
Gotcha. Yeah, Miguel, I'm going to see you real soon. I invited him to MPA October 22nd. Come on over. Everyone's invited to MPA anytime you want. Great stuff going on right there. But talking about great stuff, let's go back to your first year in the classroom, Principal JL. Let's go back to your first year in the trenches. Let's not fake the funk like Principal Cafella says. How was your first year in the classroom, sir?
Oh, this is what it was. Hey, welcome to. I'm not going to name the high school at the time. It's 712 school there in Nebraska. It's a rural school. It was, hey, you're a math teacher. Here's your room. Your books are over there. Good luck. Gave me the keys, and that was it. Like, there wasn't a lot of, I just had to figure it out. So I did a lot of like, hey, I had two other math teachers in the building because it's a 712 building. So I taught anywhere from transitional math all the way up to algebra 2 at that time. And so I would have 5, 6, 7 preps roughly, depending on the year. So I was prepping. We did period classes, so you're having those classes every day. But it was just me trying to figure out how am I going to do this, and I wasn't taught like, hey, here's a great organization system to do all this stuff. And so that was my experience. It was like, here's your classroom, here's your keys. Good luck. If no one calls and complains, you're doing good. And anytime I saw my principal, it was because someone called to complain about something. Either it was the football or it was something in the classroom. But that's kind of what my first experience was. And I just had to kind of figure some things out and find systematic approaches that helped me. And that experience kind of helps me do what I do now as a principal. So I'll never forget that. That's something I don't want to put my new teachers through for sure.
Facts. Adam, talk to us your first year, sir.
Yeah, so, I grew up in Ohio, came down to Clearwater Beach on spring break. I'm still here. It's been a 26-year spring break. But when I got down here, I drove around from high school to high school looking for a job. And I was a health and PE major and minor in coaching. So Northeast High School in St. Petersburg, Florida was my first teaching job. And I taught everything under the sun in that PE umbrella, from team sports to racket sports to health, and was a football coach, was the athletic trainer for the school. So, most of the days I was the first one to come in, taping ankles, and last one to leave, putting away the pads, and just couldn't get enough of it. It was a great great job. Health, PE, coaching. I couldn't keep up with those hours today or half the energy I put in then, but it was awesome.
Thank you for sharing. I don't know, Melissa, you keep on laughing and getting deep into that chair like you're hiding. All right, Melissa, talk to us about your first year, young lady.
I can connect with all of them. A friend of mine that I played soccer with was like, hey, we need a soccer coach. I had a business degree, so I had to teach 6 preps, and they were semester classes. So a lot of times a kid that would go to DAP would need an elective, so they'd come back to me. I knew nothing, and I just got really good at relationships and classroom management because that's all you could do. It was survival. And I also, this was before Alt Cert was popular, but I was alternative certified. And so I had no education classes, and I just hoped that the kids would like me and do and follow me. And so every day I just try to connect with them, ask them what they had for dinner, ask them what they loved. And then after that, the teaching part came in.
Perfect. There you go. Hey, that's a good nugget to throw out there right now. Kenyelle Sessions, welcome to the show. OKC in the house. Thank you for being here. What's up in Nevada? What happened in Nevada, my man? What happened that first year that we know or we don't want to know?
I'm not going to tell you what you don't want to know. But I moved here. I moved to Vegas. I remember I moved on August 4th, and it was 115 degrees out from Moscow, Idaho, where I went to college, which was different. And I grew up in a small town in Washington. So then I got to Vegas, which at that time was growing immensely. And I was in 4th grade in a lower middle class neighborhood, and I had to figure things out because I came from a very rural area. And thank goodness I was good at relationships, and I could build trust with the kids. I go play football with them at recess or soccer or whatever, because the first year was tough, and it's tough for a lot of teachers. And I remember that. I remember how tough it was. I had a great admin team that helped me, and they knew it was tough. And therefore we got through it. And then year 2, you kind of figure it out and you get going. But I think, I think just remembering how I felt, especially after that first observation, remembering that feeling and kind of using that to guide teachers is kind of the goal with me now, having lived that experience.
So true. We all learn from those things, right? Awesome. Thank you for sharing, panel. Dr. Moreno.
I'm going to start off with Melissa because she already kind of mentioned this already. My question to you, Melissa, you talked about how you started as an Alt Cert teacher. I also started as an Alt Cert teacher, so I had no idea. Like, no one gave me the blueprint, right? On, how do you do a lesson plan and, classroom management. We have to figure all of that out. So my question to you, Melissa, is how are you addressing our teacher shortage and supporting those that entered like you and I did through the Alt certification, which they had no education training and just thrown into the classroom to figure it out. So how are you addressing teacher shortage?
So I'm actually pretty blessed. We have a Grow Your Own program where the paras can be a teacher if they have 2 years of educational background. So a lot of times we'll take our high school students, put them 2 years as a paraprofessional, and then they can become teachers. So I didn't have any shortages this year. What I can tell you is that the principal means everything to these kids. They need to know to show up as themselves, and we can work everything else out. And so there's a lot of check-ins, there's a lot of feedback, and there's a lot of just social, emotional, are you okay? And what can I do to help you? And when I do those things, I feel like people return to me, unless they move, that they're happy to be there and we're all on a team together.
And that's so important. Sometimes people just want to know, are you okay? I know we focus so much on the kids sometimes, but adults also go through a lot. And we have, trauma ourselves and whatnot, especially those that don't know what they're supposed to be doing, right?
For
so
sure.
That's awesome. I love that you have a Grow Your Own program. And congratulations, you have no vacancy. Well, you don't have any vacancies yet, right? Because you're outside of a school.
So I'm paired with the existing high school principal. And so I'm still with him, just so he's from out of the area. And so I've just translate for him. And so I'm on a campus whenever I can be, but it's just not mine. It's not my kids, that kind of thing. But so they have no shortages because of the Grow Your Own.
When does your school open officially? Is it next year?
Actually 2 years, 2 years, 2 years without kids.
What?
I
That's
hope I
so
make
you're
it.
starting this like from scratch, like from the foundation.
Yes, I originally did a middle school during COVID. And so it's been 5 years. And so they said, let's do the high school again. And so we just started this year.
That is awesome. Awesome. It is such an experience to kind of start from the foundation. You're putting everything together. You're doing the colors and everything. That is so cool. That's just such an awesome experience. And not everybody gets a chance to do that. So you are completely blessed the fact that you're doing it for the second time.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Awesome. How about you, Mr. Jeff? How are you supporting your teachers, especially those that come through AltCert?
Yeah, like we don't call it outsource, we call it a transitional program here in Nebraska. So anybody that has a bachelor's or has a degree of any kind can get into a program either through the University of Nebraska Kearney or the University in Doane, Nebraska, where they would get accepted to a program to where they would get a alternate certification or a probationary period to where what they have to have is they have to have a job offer. Hey, you would be able to teach business class. You'd be able to teach history. You'd be able to teach science. You'd be able to teach these different classes. And honestly, I've hired a few of them in the past. And so you have to be a part of this transitional program that you go through to university where you're getting that foundation of educational practices under your belt. So you're not like, yes, you're being put in a classroom on your own, kind of sort of speak, without a lot of training, but you have to go through this like 2-year process. And so they have people that will come in and they will support them as well as me. What I will do, and I do this for all incoming teachers, is we have a guide teacher. So I'm going to pair you with another teacher that's in the building that's been there for a while. It may not be somebody in your department. I try to keep it in the department to make it easier, but it's got to be someone that knows the building in and out, knows our systems, know our process, knows our expectations, so they can help support them. And then I do a lot of just following up, seeing how they're doing, checking in, how's it going? Do you have any questions? Get them to the right people, because I'm in a high school. I went from a high school about 155 students to 1,000 students. I went from
Wow.
having 24 teachers to 75 teachers, and
Mhm.
so 2 APs and all that. So we have a lot of things going to where I try to make sure they understand where do you go with certain situations or certain problems. And of course, they can ask me anytime my door's open, but at the same time, I have a lot of people that we kind of just work this together, and then we pay our guide teachers a little stipend to help guide these new teachers through that first year. And a lot of times, the guide teachers and the mentor and the mentee will get a relationship, and that will
Mhm.
carry on for years after years. And I would say that I've been blessed. I filled every position but one, but it's a position I did not have to fill until next year because
Mhm.
I can maneuver things around to not have to have that certified staff. But I won't be able to get away with it after this year. I had 2 years, so I'll have to make sure I find somebody. But yeah, I mean, just making sure they know that they're welcome. They have people that will support them, but to just make sure they know where to go when they have questions and get those answers that they may need.
Jeff, and I'm so glad you shared that, because I mean, if you're out there and you're listening live or on the broadcast, now is the time to check in with your teachers, especially your brand new teachers. How are they? How are they doing? And pairing them up. If they're not paired up with somebody, then they're just going to be floundering out there, right? And the fact that you just give them even a small stipend, that will also kind of provide them the support, because some people want, they want to be able to be compensated. They want to know that they're valued as far as being a leader on their campus. So,
Yep.
thank you for sharing that great knowledge.
And one more thing there, we just don't throw the guide teachers out there without clarity or without intention. They actually have a checklist that they roll through with that new teacher. So there's times where this is kind of want to meet, this many times a month. These are the things you need to go through, and these are the things you need to make sure they hit. And that goes over everything they may need to know or want to know or have to know in our building. So it's not like we just say, hey, guide teacher, good luck. No, we actually give them resources, and I check in with them as well. So I just want to throw that out there. It's not like we just We just pair
No,
them up
and
and magic happens.
yeah, sometimes that happens. You're absolutely right. So that's great that you actually share that as well, that you have a checklist, because it keeps it focused, it keeps it strategic, so that you are addressing these things and making sure that they are successful in that area. So thank you so much. Adam, how about you? What are you doing to support our alt cert teachers or our brand new teachers?
Yeah, so I'm kind of along the lines with what I hear Melissa saying is I would work with my seniors and build in a period or two every day for them to work with an administrator, a teacher, a custodian, a counselor. And when the beginning of their senior year, I would talk to all my seniors, say, look, you're graduating in 10 months. I'm going to give you your first job offer. When you graduate, I want you to come back here, work here with me, build our alumni up. And then as the year goes and they graduate, you know, if it's a high school diploma position, I'll hire you on the Monday morning after you graduate in a secretary position, a food nutrition position, a custodian, a bus driver. But if you're going to school, which we want to promote, but not everybody does, I'll work with you. You go to school Monday, Wednesday, Friday, sub for me Tuesday, Thursday. You go to school in the morning, come in and sub for me in the evening. So I'd really work with their schedule to go to college and also serve as a substitute with me. And the beauty of that's once they become a junior and senior, they need a place to do an internship, you know, 4,000 hours or whatever you need. So I'm going to pair you up with your favorite teacher when you were in school to do your internship. And then when we get them through to a diploma, again, I'll hire you the Monday morning after you graduate. And guess what? I'm going to pair you up and give you a common planning area with your favorite teacher that you worked through your internship. And it just started steamrolling. You know, I had 26 former alumni on my staff. They were once my students, but it was so cool to sit with like 26 of them in a faculty meeting. And now they have their own rooms. And then it just steamrolls. There's nothing better in the world to do than to graduate and come back and work at the place you went to school. And it was really just cool to see it take off.
That is amazing. And talk about, you know, building that culture and having the kids turn around and saying, you guys, I sat in those chairs, look at me, right? And so that in itself is so valuable and such amazing. Adam, thank you so much for sharing that. How
And
about
they'd
you,
show
Bob?
me a lot of things I'd never know, like where they used to skip and hide from me. They'd point out all the spots. I'd be like, now you're on the good side now.
There you go. Awesome. Awesome. How about you, Robert? What are you doing to support the teacher shortage and or alt cert teachers?
So I have a little bit different take on this because I'm in a little bit different situation. Being out here in Vegas, and I'm in a suburban area now, I don't necessarily have alt cert teachers. What I did when I opened the school is I got a hold of UNLV and formed a partnership, and they send me tons of P2 and student teachers. So in a way, we grow our own through that. If I can get them here when they're P1, P2, and student teach, I can pretty much decipher whether or not you're going to be able to fit. Plus, we kind of grow our own that way. So we've hired a lot of students that have come through just doing their practicums or their student teachers or the student teaching. And then, you know, when they're new, one thing I think admin needs to do is, yeah, you can have mentors and you can have people in the classroom, but our strategist is one of the best teachers that I was ever lucky enough to hire. And she's also a good human. And I think we as admin need to be careful about who we make as strategists, because if they are not good humans or they do not have street cred, as Tovar would say, then it's awful hard to sell that to people. But I am blessed. I have two strategists that know what they're doing, that are loved by everybody, and they hustle all day long helping everybody in the building. And what that does, it just creates the same kind of culture where we're here to help each other. Well, one more point, kind of being in my situation, is I've made a career out of transferring teachers into my school that other principals didn't take care of. And that's very important. When they get here, they are given pretty much everything they want. They're treated like gold. You know, we have tons of tons of ways to keep them happy. But more importantly, we remember that they're people first. So we talk to them, support them as however we can. And I don't micromanage them. They're professionals. Let them do their thing and the results will follow.
Yes, micromanage. So many principals want to do that, and that does not work. Doesn't work.
One of my favorite quotes, which I attribute to myself, is you'll never find advice online about how to better micromanage your people. You won't.
Fact. You're absolutely right. And you know what? So many people get turned off, and that's why they leave, right? And so awesome. And you know what? Every single one of you guys had different ideas. So I just want to make sure everybody knows, like and share this podcast. Just stop what you're doing, like and share it, because what you guys are saying is fact. We need to make sure that we are taking care of our teachers, because at the end of the day, those are the ones that are doing the magic in our schools to support our kids, and micromanaging doesn't work. So please like and share the podcast so that other people can hear all of this knowledge that's being dropped today.
Big shout out to Edwin Garcia. Hey, Doc, did you already move from New Jersey to Cali? Did you unpack your stuff? Let us know. Let us know. And don't forget, Doc, send me those things so you'll be in the show, I think, in 4 weeks from now. So send me those items. Constance Sherrard, she piggybacked. This was a great thing right there. All of you guys present some awesome gems right there, along with Constance, and get them involved. And for myself, I still have 2 vacancies. But for me, my philosophy is this. I'm not going to hire just to hire. That's more of a pain in the rear end. I don't hire to get a body in there. Not at all, because you know what? I'm not going to be documenting to get you out a couple of months later. That's a recipe for failure, and I refuse to do that. So
Josh, I used to work for a district that it was like, get a body in there. And it's like, why? I'd rather just hire an hourly then, if that's what you want. Just
right.
If you want a warm body, then I'll do an hourly, but I'm not going to give somebody a contract that I'm now going to take forever to document out. But you know what? There's districts out there that just want you to hire everybody, because it needs to be 100%.
Right. No, there's no way. There's no way, because like we all know this. So if you're a brand new administrator out there, just take your time hiring. Good to great. Put it on your audiobook. Listen to it. Don't hire just to hire. It's more of a pain in our field. I can't talk about somebody else. And especially if you're in a union state, careful. So let's go into your experience, Melissa. No, we started with Melissa before. Let's go with Adam. Adam, let's start off right now. Let's use your experience, Adam, and everybody else, because you guys are seasoned. You guys have done fabulous things. From the classroom leadership, if there's somebody that's been there 3 to 5 years, we normally say, air quotes, 3 to 5 years, you fine-tune your craft, as long as we're not changing you around. You're going to go from English 1 to English 3, then you start again with that whole 3 to 5 year concept. What would you want a classroom team member? What signs of leadership do you expect from them to provide the culture of your campus? And two-part question, your APs. So within, leadership is everybody. Your head custodian, your night custodian, your cashier in the cafeteria is a leader as compared to the cafeteria manager. Everybody's a leader there. But the specificity of dealing with our kids, it's always crucial to take that into the back of our mind or the front of our mind. So what do you look for into classroom leadership from your established team members and from your APs?
Josh, that's a jam-packed question. So let me break it down a little bit. So I found that teachers like not only vertical support, but horizontal support. And what I mean, I always thought it was about vertical support. The teacher needed the department head, the AP, the principal, and it was this way. But the more I was involved with education, I realized the horizontal support was even more important, and they relied on more of the teacher next to them or across the hall, or those meetings where just the departments get together and it's outside the school at a local restaurant on a Friday or something like that. So it's really important to me that everyone understands, yes, you need that vertical support with a principal and all that, but that horizontal support is priceless. And you're going to tap into that, and you're going to learn more from that. And your trust and showing up to work happy and leaving happy is all going to come from that horizontal support. So that's my big deal, is how do you become involved? How do you help other people, which in the end is going to help you become better? Because if you're not building those relationships, you're just going to always be stagnant within your walls of what you're doing. And then with the other one, you talked about APs, and it's about being seen, being out and about. If no one knows who you are, it's hard to have a positive effect. So, my big things, we're out as much as we can be. We have rolling desks, we have laptops, we're waving and typing and trying to be out in the halls, but we call it the Guardians of the Galaxy. We all love that movie, and we're protecting the galaxy, which is our school. And you protect it by being out and having your armor on. So being out and about, number one.
Beautiful. Very true. Very true. Melissa, I'm going to switch the question on you because it's the same question, but right now you're hiring staff for a future campus. So not a lot of people have that. To me, it's a privilege. It's an honor to create your own campus. Like someone said earlier, not everyone gets to do that. So what are you looking for? You said this is the second time you've done this at a middle school, elementary, and at a high school in your district. What do you look for, ma'am, for leadership from the classroom level and future APs that will be following your vision?
I need people that are going to serve others and just serve their peers, serve their students as our customers, and serve the community. They have to believe in something bigger than their classroom, than our school. They have to know that we can change just about anything and that our power is bigger than what we hold that's right in front of us. And so I'm looking for people that are going to serve others.
Awesome. That would be encompass both parts of the question, right?
Yes.
Is there a specific, Melissa, let me dig into your brain a little bit more. Is there a specific kind of question that you, with your years under your belt, you look for? There's never a right or wrong answer, because each individual is different. Each content is different. It's all different. But is there a question or two you like to share with that you say, you know what, this tells me a lot about you?
So I always like the conflict questions, like, tell me how you deal with conflict. You have a peer that you have a conflict with. How are we going to communicate that? You have a conflict with a parent. How are we going to deal with that? And what I'm looking for there is their empathy, that they are imagining their own child sitting in that class or dealing with that child in discipline, because I want to make sure that we're working in the gray. We're working in the whole picture, and it's not black and white when we're in education.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for your insight. Principal JL, classroom leadership, APs, talk to us.
All right. I go back to, building relationships with people. I like bringing in people that can build relationships. So when I'm interviewing new staff members, new teachers, we have questions that are guided around, how do you get kids to do things that they may not like to do or want to do? And a lot of that has to do with what kind of relationship are you building with those students. So I look at people that can have that, but I also don't want people to take things personally, because when we're working with children of other people, we also know we're dealing with their most valuable possession, their child. And we have to remember that. And so we want to be able to build that relationship. But when you are going through some difficult situations, you got to be able to keep your cool, and you can't take those things personally, even though it's hard to in the moment. So we'll take people through scenarios, and I do this with, hiring an AP as well as teachers. I'm trying to figure out, what is your mindset? How would you handle this type of situation? Because I can't have someone just react emotionally to a situation. I got to have people that could step back and kind of process it before engaging in things. But also part of my job is to help those people gain those skills as well if they're not quite getting those things. And so I've had a lot of conversations with staff members when it comes to, working through some tough conversations, not just with students and their parents, but also with colleagues, and trying to help them, how do we approach each other? How do we treat each other in our building? Because to me, that's really important, as well as how we build relationships, now with students, parents, and community members, but how do we build relationships with each other in our building? Because that to me is more important, because that's what sets our culture in the building, and that's what people will see. So that's what I look for.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate your thoughts. Talk to me over there in Nevada. What are your thoughts there?
Got a lot of thoughts because I'm going last here. My thoughts in terms of hiring teachers or staff members. One is I look for personality and joy. I try to have fun. You're going to have fun. This is a hard job. It's a hard job every day. Something happens every day, but we got to be able to have fun. So if you can't laugh at my jokes, you're probably not the right fit. But it comes down to relationships, like you said. My whole mantra, for better or worse, is that at Tyrone Thompson, we want to be the model of what a public school can and should be. And I struggle greatly with second place. Second place sucks. It's the first loser. I need people with that kind of urgency. Now, I don't always find it. You can miss on interviews and things, but I guess going back to it is I will make sure that you're a good human if at all possible, because I really, really just need that. If you're a good human and you can talk to me, then we can teach you how to teach. We have the people. In terms of an AP, I used to believe, kind of a maturation, I used to believe I needed to find someone who is different than me, someone who had taught primary or knows SPED or things like that. And that worked fine. But then my current AP, she's great. We're very, very similar. But that helps because we're on the same team. But at the same point in time, I can ask her questions about anything and get that perspective. And she understands where I'm coming from. And then just in teacher leaders, like I go back to the strategists, I need the teacher leaders to basically, you think about this, they are an advocate for the teachers, and we are the advocate for the admin, and we're going to find the best route forward for all of us. So I kind of just look for that kind of person, those kind of people that don't always say yes. I don't want to hear yes all the time. I want to hear no, and here's why. And so from that, we just build leaders and teams, and we just go on our path.
Awesome panel. Thank you for sharing those thoughts. Very important information from seasoned professionals, leaders. Write down all that stuff on your yellow notepad. Dr. Moreno.
I love this question I'm going to share with you guys because I know you guys all have some stories to talk about. So we don't want to make them too long, but we all have that one success story that we can say, you know what? Wow, I can't believe this happened. So Jeff, I'm going to start off with you. Okay. So can you just share with us a success story as you were a principal? So think about when you were in that chair. What did you do or what happened to a child? It could be a teacher as well, a success story. And then it's a two-part question. I want you to tell me about a time that you could have done something different. You made a decision because when you're sitting in the chair, you're making decisions all the time, right? So what decision that you make that now looking back, you said, I should have did something different. So two parts. One, a success story. And two, what is something that you would have done differently now that you look back at it?
Yeah, I think I'm going to start with, before I get to the success part, I have to begin with the failure part. So where in my first principalship, I didn't always ask, I wouldn't say ask, but I didn't always get a team of people together to make decisions for my staff. And, there's sometimes I would, make a decision. I'm like, but I could explain it. But a lot of the times, not letting the teachers or the staff members be a part of that process hurt me. It just did. It just, not everybody can get on board with it. I couldn't, it was something that I was, basically being a director, I was giving them a directive, and people don't like that. So with that, what I knew I had to learn through that first principalship to, build a team of people, get them together, get them in the room so we can solve the issues of our building. And once I started doing that in my first principalship, when I got the job that I do now, I knew right away that's what I was going to do. That was part of my plan, was to build relationships, but to bring a team of teachers together. And what I did is I invited everybody to come. I didn't like handpick them because I was new. I didn't know anybody, but I just said, hey, come. This is the goal of this team. And then we got to work. So I'm going to get my 4th year now, being a principal at Hastings High School. So, through the collaborative effort with my teachers, we were able to tackle the cell phone issues, which we have a personal electronic device policy. We rewrote that to make it to where there's accountability, but everybody had a say in how we're going to handle those situations. We had kids that would wander the building, and we had these pink paper passes that, like, man, we're still in the 2020s, still working pink passes. We got rid of that, got an e-hall pass system, and then the teacher's like, hey, we need an extra duty called hall duty. And the hall duty was to help kids get to the classrooms if they're, wandering, things like that. But we used the e-hall pass system to do that. And then this last year, this is our 2nd year now, we implemented a MTSS process that deals with our attendance, chronic absenteeism, and, people not being in class and not learning has been a big issue, not just in my school, but across the nation. And so we tackled it from a perspective, if we can hold the students and the parents and the teachers all accountable to some piece of this thing, then we're going to find success. So what we did is we implemented a attendance policy with tiered supports, to where every week we're looking at who is our heavy, who didn't show up to school. We reach out, try to figure out. We have a community liaison that's working with us, that's checking with the families, but we also have our dean of students that's going to go out and go, hey, we missed you yesterday. What can we do to help, break down that barrier? Why are you missing? And so we try to help them along. And so we do have some accountability piece, but it's all coming from, how can we help you? How can we support you? Because our goal is not to, people will want to say we're all about trying to, make the county attorney's job harder. We're not. We're trying to make it easier by trying to have these supports. So when we have a kid that needs that legal side of things, we can show them all the things that we have done to support this family and trying to help them. So with that, this past year, just 1 year, we were able to increase daily average attendance rates 3.97%, which is about 40 more kids per day showing up to school every day. And then we decreased chronic absenteeism by 8.9% in 1 year. And that's because we took a team approach in this process, and it was everybody together. It wasn't just me. I just support the system, and I just make sure it runs right. And we got people in place to do that. So that's my success. So go from my failure to my success.
That is amazing. That's the fact that you brought people together, right? To do that. It was not working alone. It's a fact that you brought people together so we can tackle these problems. Awesome. Thank you so much. Robert, how about you? Give me a success story, sir, and something that you would redo over.
So, just sitting here reflecting as Jeff went, I think one of the things that I would redo, I'm always trying to hone it in, is one of my struggles is I trust people until I can't. And I give people a lot of chances. And I think back to my career that I probably shouldn't have given people so many chances, because I want to believe in them, and I want to believe that they're good people and they're going to do the right job and they're going to do the right actions. And so you talk to them, and then they just keep kind of going down a bad path. And I always struggle on, when does it start to get really, really formal? And that's, one of my failures is that I haven't always started that process quickly enough, and maybe at the detriment of kids, if I'm being honest, which is a challenge. When do you start to really document people and really get on it? Now, you can tell pretty quickly if something's really bad. I mean, you can tell, but I'm not a micromanager. I trust you till I can't, and then we handle the situation. But with that, turning that into a success, at my last school, I was pretty much handed that staff. I took over for someone who had built it, and it was a distinguished school. We kept it going. Out here in Nevada, we're 5 stars. But to build that with the new school is a challenge, especially when you hire people during COVID. You don't know who they are. They're online. And I've had to weed the garden a lot the last 5 years, kind of getting back to the fact that, you don't wait that long. But the success is tomorrow the staff will find out that Thompson is a 5-star school. And that kind of proves to me my process or my system works. And that's very, very rewarding.
Awesome, and congratulations. Congratulations. I think we're all going to give you a round of applause there because that is so cool. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing.
It's awesome for sure. I have to stay, I'm struggling though. Again, just being honest again, it's almost like you make the playoffs, but you don't win the Super Bowl because we are, we're a 5-star school, but we're still like 13th out of 235. And I'm like, that's wonderful. But, and I got to remember, this is a good thing, but we still got work to do. And so we'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? You're moving, right? That's important.
Yes. Keep going. Keep moving forward.
Melissa.
So every
Melissa,
big mistake every big mistake I've made was in isolation, right? So a House bill comes out in Texas and it says that kids need remediation during like what we call Bulldog Block. And so what I do is I buy like an online program because I do not want my teachers to have to lesson plan an extra lesson out of their subject area. And so every student's on a program on the computer during Bulldog Block. Well, the teachers hated it. They wanted to teach the kids, even if it was out of their subject area. And so the kids were bored. And again, I think my biggest success is including teacher voice in everything I do, even though it takes one more step. And even student voice. I mean, students pretty much know that their voice matters and it's embedded in everything I do. One thing that we do that's really great is students get to write a grant at the end of the year where they want to put their mark on our school, and the PTO offers $500 to do whatever the group that won to put their mark on the school. And the students talk about that every year. So the next year they're looking for that painting or that picnic table or that covered eating area, that they wrote the year before. And so it's just kind of build our culture. And so I think just taking one more step for feedback and collaboration will create success for anyone.
That's so important. And I think a lot of people forget about that, forget about including other voice, right? And I know it's one extra step and we assume that they don't want to do that, but it's so important they do. They do want that.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you, Melissa. Last but not least, Adam, what success story do you have to share and something that you can reflect on that you probably could have done something different?
Well, it's great listening to all these stories. I'm going to go with a school-wide success. Is my first year as a principal was at a high school with a very high referral rate, suspension rate, attendance was really bad. But we installed a PBIS system, positive behavior interventions and supports. And, a lot of high school principals might stay away from it saying, oh, that's more a middle school or a elementary thing. I tell you what, if I can make one recommendation at a high school, get PBIS going. I know those kids are going to college in 4 years, but they love it. They love meeting the expectations to collect the bucks. We had a buck with our mascot on it. And, we had a school store that was like a super Walmart and it had everything on it from T-shirts to earbuds to you name it. But, it really helped build relationships, not only with the kids, but with the teachers and the kids. It really built up our pride. And, the cool thing was, our discipline went down and kids were in seats and all that. Our focus was never on academics. But what we found after 4 years is our discipline went down 40%. But our grad rate went up 20%, and that was never our focus. We were just trying to get kids to come to school and teachers to come to school and get along for a 6-hour day. But during that process, academics was thriving. So it was so neat to see our grad rate go up 20% when all we were doing was focusing on relationships and building the campus. I would say, a hard learning spot was I learned reunification the hard way. Is again, my first year, we had a big gas leak at a factory out behind our sporting events, and we had to evacuate the campus. So with support of district, we got the buses back. So I was just a principal for about 6 months, and we were a school of about 4,000 at that time. So I got on the intercom and I told all the closer buildings to the buses to come out and get on the bus. And I told the teachers, once you get your kids on, get in your car. we're going to go 3 miles down the road to a community center. We evacuated the campus within an hour. It was beautiful, but I never thought about reunification. And I didn't have anyone down there. I didn't have any process for parents that were showing up. I mean, it took us 5 hours to align the right kid with the right parent. It was like a full work day. So, a couple big changes I made now is, one, wherever the gas leak was, I should have started back there. Like, those kids and teachers were so close to being affected. And then I would also have the teachers get on the bus with their kids, get off, stay with them, and then I can call you on your cell phone. So I learned reunification the hard way, but I'll never forget the definition or meaning of that word.
You're giving me like chills, because I had to do as a principal, I remember having to do a plan, right, for reunification. And I would tell my teachers, it's the plan we never want to implement, right? But we need to have a plan. And so, yeah, it's a long process, and I'm so glad you got over that. And you know what? You learned from that, right? Now you have a great plan. Did you ever have to use that plan again? I know you had a disaster first time.
I never did, but I was so ready if that second opportunity came. I just played 80s rock and roll music throughout the convention center the whole time to try to calm them down. We almost had like a little homecoming dance,
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you guys. Those success stories. It's always, I saw your smiles. It's always nice to kind of reflect on those positive moments and how we learn from our mistakes.
So right now is the time to share some of our the things that we have to offer in regards to our knowledges, our books, our experiences, anything. Hey, Tony, you'd like to share with the audience anything out there?
Well, I mean, you want to be more specific, Josh?
Your books, conferences.
Sure. I'll do a shameless plug right now.
Please do.
I have a lot of books. I enjoy books. I enjoy writing books because I try to use my experiences to help move the needle forward. But I don't know if you can see this, but probably my favorites are More Than Just Teaching and More Than Just Support Staff, which are basically all about relationships in the school. And More Than Just Teaching is 25 teachers that wrote about their favorite student as well as their favorite teacher. And what you see is relationships matter. And then More Than Just Support Staff is support staff members who put relationships first. It just kind of highlights them. But, Tovar, he didn't say it, but he's part of the next book, which is More Than Just Principles. And essentially, that's coming out sometime here in a little bit. But essentially, it's about principals who are more than just principals. You're a counselor, you're HR, you are the reunification guy, you're all of it, right? And so it's highlighting probably 14 principals across the country that are more than to their buildings, to their community, or to their students and staff. So that's my shameless plug for my More Than series. And I got plenty more on Amazon, but I'll just stick with those ones.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And, this is the way that I feel about this kind of stuff. And I will always remember Jerry Brooks. We need to listen. That cat is something else. I like, give me 3 minutes of that cat. I feel warm and fuzzy. All right. But one of his themes in all his presentations says, stop the PB&J, professional jealousy. Stop it. Stop it. You need to be out there and learn. Iron sharpens iron. Don't be a hater. Be a supporter so that you could become that top person. Because if you become the top person based on someone else's success, guess what? Your kids are going to be rocking and rolling. We need to stop the PB&J. It's so true. And you know what? It's sad. It's sad about our field. There's a lot of that. Mm-hmm. Especially at the administrative level. There's a lot of that. And there's a lot of haterade going out there. And I'm sorry, I'll call it out because I'm old. I don't care. This is 33. You're 33 for me, baby. And I've seen it all. And so that's why I present to you. You know what? Let's learn from each other. These are avenues for success. Adam Lane, I know you got a lot of good stuff going on.
I'm trying. Anyone who wants to get a hold of me, you can go to leadinglane.com. It's right above me. It's on each side of me. My Twitter connection's there, Facebook, LinkedIn, you name it. But I enjoy keynote speaking, workshop development. I'll go all over the place anytime. I also do online sessions. We were talking a little earlier. I'm doing 10 8-hour professional development sessions for educators out in Nevada. So I do a lot of online work also, but just call me, email me. I'm always here to share experiences that I've had, elementary, middle, high school, teaching, being a principal. Just love helping out.
And you were the principal of the year for Florida in 2021?
No, 2022 Florida Principal of the Year and K-12 National Principal of the Year.
Woo! Let me have a Ric Flair, baby. Let me have Ric Flair. Woo! Principal JL.
All right. I got my podcast, Educational Leadership with Principal JL. That's kind of what I do outside of being a principal at my high school, which I love. I love what I do. And I think really for me, my focus with my podcast is to share other people's educational journeys so people can learn from each other. I felt like when I was networking and trying to figure this principalship out, the people that I learned the most from was connecting with people in my region, within my state, but then now I'm really connecting more nationally and learning from people as well. And so my podcast is for basically it's PD for people that need it. And I really think about those principals that are out in isolation. They're out in the cornfields of Nebraska and the rural schools to where they don't have, people they could work with, face to face every day, but they may need some sort of guidance. But if they could get something out of my episodes, and if my episodes can connect people together to help each other out, that's my goal with that podcast. And I really love doing it because I get professional development out of it myself. So I learn a lot just from the people that I have on, and through this process, I get to see and connect with other people on different platforms as well when it comes to it. And that's kind of where I go, hey, I really like Robert's perspective today, and I'll like it. I might make a comment. We'll talk back and forth once in a while. But yeah, I do that with other people that are out there putting good content out. And so I really appreciate that. And Josh, I really appreciate you for taking the time to review our podcast and to let people know about it, because you're kind of one of those people that are out there promoting all these different educational podcasts, and I picked up a few podcasts just by your recommendation. So I appreciate that as well. And if you want to learn more about me, my podcast on all platforms and all my link, I have a connection link. You can get a hold of me on TikTok, IG, Threads, Facebook, all those fun things. So there you go. That's what I do outside of just being my high school principal.
Melissa, how to open a school? What else you got? Talk to us. That's a great experience.
Yeah, I'm trying to post everything I can, every step of the way, so people can see that it's much more than just a school appearing. Our culture is so important, and we want to do everything extra. Just one more step, one more bougie situation for kids to just be all in. Right now, I'm reading Unreasonable Hospitality because I really believe the little things matter. And that if you take care of people, then they will come back to you and they will make a difference for the people around you. And so that's kind of my thing. I love student choice and voice. And so you'll see me presenting or writing about that quite often because I want someone to treat my kids, even though they're grown, just like they're right in front of them whenever we're educating them.
So awesome. So awesome. And so a couple of books out there, Kevin Curtis. Hey, anybody out there? You got that one team member that it seems like a zoo in the classroom? Right there, man. Hey, you know that one hallway that you don't want to go to? You know what I'm talking about. You know that hallway in the back? You know the vape hallway that you don't take your rolling cart that often because you got to do all that paperwork? Right here. Check out this guy. You know what I'm talking about. That's why these guys are smiling. You know what I'm talking about. The dark side. The dark side of education. Superintendent Glenn Robbins. Right here, dark side. How people in education put up obstacles for people in education. Ties it into superstars. Come November, you sitting in the chair, you're going to need this leadership via the Stoics. That way, that cheerleading mom or that softball mom that doesn't want to sell cookie dough, right there. All these principals are laughing because you know what I'm talking about. Sean Kane, Fundamental 5. I'll be presenting in Austin at the National Fundamental 5 Conference with Sean Kane right here. And if you want 23 stories, yours truly ends up the book with chapter 23 on how to grow your why. The great things that we do at MPA and at Socorro High School right there. Barbara Bray, yours truly, the last chapter. And now my man has blessed me by putting out the voice a little bit more over there, Robert. Real quick, we're about to finish the show, guys. Hey, Melissa, real quick, we just got like 2 more questions. Melissa,
Yeah.
what troubles you at night about our field?
Oh gosh. I think social media troubles me. I think another thing is the students who are unwell, the threats that are made. Those things keep me up all night. And is there one more thing I can do to ensure the safety of students?
Amen, sister. Amen. So true. Robert.
What troubles me is how we eat our own. What I mean by that is, I'm gonna actually write a book on this someday. Actually started working on it, but we are too negative about our profession via social media, and we got to turn it around. I try to post positives. It's hard. It's easy to post negatives all day. I try to post positives, or like Jess said, I try to do something provocative on TikTok to get people thinking. But we have got to stop eating our own and stop being a detriment to our own profession.
Facts. That kid in college, why would they want to go to our field when they read educators write about us, but not in a good light? Why? Come on, let's stop
exactly. That's my whole point. If we keep saying, only 142 days till summer break, no, we got 142 days to make a difference. We got to change it around.
I'm sorry, and people might not like this. Some people might not like this. I really do not hate. I really despise. Oh, my weekend was not long enough, bro. What a positive attitude to have walking into work. Well, it's almost the weekend. Oh, yeah, that's what you want your kids to have in your classroom, right? That's the type of joy you want them to have, right? Especially with your lesson about mitosis and meiosis. Really. Adam, what keeps you up at night?
Yeah, I'm going to go along with what Melissa said. It's the increase in the Baker Acts, the threat assessments, the Title IXs, the bullying reports. Like, I've only, I haven't been a principal over 20 years, but I can tell you, I don't remember all that prior to COVID. I don't remember spending 60 to 70% of my day trying to make sure my kids mentally and physically are safe. But since we come out of COVID, I've just seen that increase in all those different reports to just try to make sure kids show up and they're not being harmed.
So true. So true, brother. It is tough. And that's the reality that all of us here, acting practitioners, every single last day, and it doesn't matter anymore, elementary to high school. Elementary to high school. What's up? Talk to me, Jeff.
All right. I think the thing that I keep going back to is don't listen to the national narrative, because they're out there spewing things that really aren't true that's going on in education. And I think what we have to do as principals or as educators, we need to push the positive things that are happening. One of the things that I did is, like, I took over a school that did not have a large social media footprint. So I want to use social media to our advantage and get all the positives out. What are we doing in the building? What are all the great teachers doing? What are the kids experiencing? Because we got to change that narrative, or someone's going to tell people what our narrative is. And I think that's what really why I do what I do with my podcast, is say, hey, these are great things that are happening in education. And the things that you hear, yeah, there's some things that go on, but it doesn't happen everywhere. I know the state of education, public education in Nebraska is outstanding. One of the best, I think, in the nation when it comes to educating kids. That's my biased opinion, but this is what I know. But I also know that we have, we still battle some of the same things that people are battling in Nevada, people are battling in New Jersey or Florida or Texas or anywhere else. And so we battle those things as well. So I think us as leaders, we have to fight for our profession in a way that we show the positive stories. I think the biggest thing that I deal with probably more so than I ever have is mental health issues with my students and with my staff. I deal with them all the time. Just recently I had to emergency exclude a kid on these things. It's things that you have to do that you hate to do, but you want to, help those kids, you want to help those families. But also I have staff members that will come to my office and break down because they're having a bad day. And so we talk through things. So there's that parent counselor hat that you have to wear. And I work through a lot of these issues that, getting into this position, I never thought I would be doing, but here we are. And I think, how can we, support those people and get them the help so they can be, a functional part of society, be the best teacher they can be, but be the best, version of themselves while they're at the school. And we can't, help you outside of our school, but when you're in your school, we want to support you and help you the best we can. But we also want to tell our story, that show all the great things that are happening at our schools as well.
So true, brother. Exactly. I'm never going to let that angry Karina who blast us on Facebook because she had to show her ID. Yeah, we know you, but you still need to show your ID, lady. And just because you do 15 posts because you had to show your ID, deal with it. I got to show my ID whenever I go somewhere too. And you're not going to black that. Your post is not going to outdo that GT program, that VEX program, that CTE program, that team that defeated the rival. Never, because you didn't want to show your ID. Never. Our positivity will outdrown your Karina ways. Moreno.
Last question, you guys. We made it to the end. I can't believe it, but here we are. We are finished, and I'm going to start off with Robert. Robert, are you ready, sir? It's the super easy question. It is a fill in the blank.
All right.
Okay, so super easy. And here's your sentence stem. I wish I knew blank about the principalship.
When I started?
Yes.
Yes.
I wish I knew how much it was going to change throughout my career when I started. When I began, it was a lot about instructional leadership. And now, sadly, it's a lot about paperwork.
Facts. Thank you, Robert. Thank you. Melissa, I wish I knew blank about the principalship.
How communication is everything. Over communicate every part.
Absolutely. Yes. Communication is important. Absolutely. Jeff, how about you? I wish I knew blank about the principalship.
Yeah, it's a team sport in my book. It's everything that we do is a team effort. It's not, one person doing it all. It's everybody doing their role and doing their part, because the only way you're going to be successful in this role is having that collaborative team effort.
Awesome. Awesome. Yes. Collaboration. Absolutely. And last but not least, I knew blank about the principal. Adam.
I would say the time investment to be successful, that work-life balance to keep your own sanity, along with being a successful principal and being the person that's needed at home.
Absolutely. That work and that balance right between. And so many of us principals forget about that. And we need to be able to take care of ourselves so that we can take care of our school and take care of our others. So awesome. Thank you so much, you guys. I had a blast today. And I know we are ready for the Échale Ganas questions, Josh.
Here we go. It's ready to go. Hey, big shout out to Jefe. Jefe, I understand you, sir. Your Giants are 0-2. That's okay, sir. All the teams that I like lost this weekend. So I feel your pain. Trust me, you need to take a rest. G-Man lost to Arlington. I'm sorry about that. I wish you would have beaten Arlington over here. So, Échale Ganas questions. Here we go, everybody. Jeff, ganas is a spiritual word, my man. For all Hispanics, it doesn't matter where. You're Bolivia, you're Peru, you're El Salvador, Mexico, Puerto Rico, Cuba. It doesn't matter. You're Hispanic, you say that word. And it's universal. Our dialects are not. Trust me. Cuban, Puerto Rican, Mexican, Spanish, they're totally different. But one word does unite us all. One word, ganas. It's a heritage. It's a spiritual word. And that's how I want you to answer these questions, Jeff. So here we go. Give advice to any teacher.
All right, I would say for new teachers coming into the profession, I would say build relationships with your students and the staff around you, because you're going to need the staff down the hallway to help support you throughout your journey. Don't go it alone just because you have a classroom that you think that you have to do this by yourself. You don't. So make sure you ask questions and you build those relationships around
You're
you.
getting the look, bro. It's a lightning round. Bro.
Quick
Just
and
because,
fast.
you're Cornhuskers, bro. Your Cornhuskers won real good. You don't get to make your own rules, bro. It's my podcast. It's not yours. Let's go. Lightning round, bro. All right? The lightning round. You only get a chance to take your time with question number 2. Question number 2. Read a note, an email, a text from a teacher or student that inspired you.
All right. Get my email or my picture out. This comes from a staff member that just this past May, I gave out gift cards for all my staff for Teacher Appreciation Week. Said thank you for the gift card and thank you for establishing a great school culture at HHS. Thanks.
Beautiful. Send some flowers to a current educator that inspires you.
So I was thinking about this one. I would say all the educators, leaderships, that people that have been in my life have inspired me in some way, because I've always able to pick something that they did and implement it.
Name one person people should follow on social media.
Besides Josh Tavar or Robert, throw those guys out there because I do follow them as well. There's so many good ones. I really do enjoy Darren Peppard. He does a really nice job. He's worth looking. Todd Bloomer's also another good one.
What is one song that embodies you, as a person, your spirit? One song.
I'm gonna go with the song that I've been listening to the most right now is "Up" by Forrest Frank.
All right, lightning round, bro. What's your favorite quote?
Be curious, not judgmental. Ted Lasso.
Say it again.
Be curious, not judgmental. Ted Lasso.
What's your favorite cheat food or sweet?
Authentic Mexican food.
Okay, you have to come to El Paso for that. All right. What is your favorite TV show or book?
I like TV shows that are like documentaries and behind the scenes of football teams.
And if people want to pick your brain, how can they get a hold of you, sir?
All right. Best way to get a hold of me is through my podcast, Educational Leadership with Principal JL. You go to the connect button. It has all my stuff there to get a hold of me with TikTok, IG, all the different social medias I'm on.
Great guy. Great podcast. Awesome. Thanks. Melissa, here we go. Give advice to a new teacher.
Don't try to be perfect. Relationships are everything.
Read a note, an email, a text from a teacher or student that inspired you.
So I have a young lady named Teresa that emails me every year that tells me thank you for believing in her. What she doesn't know is she makes my day every time she emails me.
Beautiful. Send some flowers to a current educator who inspires you.
It would be my last year's interventionist. It's for our tier 2 kids. She works harder than anybody in the building. And she, even though she can poke holes in things, she also comes to me with solutions.
What's her name? Give her flowers.
English, Miss English.
Love it. One person people should follow on social media.
The latest person, I like ex-superintendent Roy Garcia. He's constantly posting positive thoughts every day without fail, and it starts my day off right.
What's one song that embodies you, your spirit as a person?
Unstoppable. I think I'm going to get up every day and I just pray other people follow me.
What's your favorite quote?
The one that is students don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. I think it's Maxwell.
What's your favorite cheat food or sweet?
Oh, peanut butter. Anything peanut butter. Reese's. You put peanut butter on it. It could be peanut butter spaghetti, and I'm gonna eat it.
Oh Lord. What's your favorite TV show or book?
Friday Night Lights. I love football. I love also all the documentaries about footballs, quarterbacks, teams. That's probably my favorite.
How can people pick your brain, ma'am? How can they get a hold of you?
So on Twitter, it's Melissa_J Harvey. It has all my contact information. They can send me a message, and at any time I can talk to them.
Love it. Adam, Florida in the house. Give advice to a new teacher.
I'm ready. Go ahead, Josh.
Give advice to a new teacher.
Trust yourself and trust your decision making. Go with it.
Read a note, an email, a text from a teacher or student that inspired you.
This is a symbol. So Dr. John Mann at USF gave all of his students a bright, shiny rock and asked them to keep it on their desk wherever they go, so you know you're never alone and he's always there to help you. And I love that. I'll never forget it.
Send some flowers to a current educator that inspires you.
I'd send it all to my family, just supporting me through the hours, the transitions, the late nights, the early mornings. Hands down, the family.
Name one person people should follow on social media.
There's so many, and there's great ones on here. But if you've never heard of Dr. Rob Gilbert, the Success Hotline, it's amazing. You call that number, look it up. He's a professor of sports psychology at Montclair State University. It'll change your day.
Love it. What's one song that embodies you as a person?
Journey, Don't Stop Believing.
What's your favorite quote?
Hands down, the easiest question you've asked me today is Maya Angelou. I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. And I'll even put an ever on there.
What's your favorite cheat food or sweet?
Ice cream.
What flavor?
Chocolate.
What's your favorite TV show or book?
I like comedy. I go with Cheers, Seinfeld, Big Bang Theory, but probably if I had to say one, Friends. That chemistry's unstoppable.
How can people get a hold of you, senor?
Leadinglane.com, whatever you need. I'm here.
All right, Robert, here we go. Let's close it strong. Close it off. Give advice to any teacher.
Teaching is hard. Just take a breath. You'll be okay.
Read a note, an email, a text from a teacher or student that inspired you.
I have an email in my email box from a student who was in a class I taught for NASA Nevada. And he emailed me and he said, "You were an incredible teacher. You connected us all like you really cared. All my peers felt so lucky to have you."
Boom. Send some flowers to a current educator who inspires you.
I send flowers to everybody who shows up and doesn't complain about the job.
Woo! One person the people should follow on social media.
I'm going to say two. Inky Johnson. He's a motivational speaker. And then my co-author, Dr. Brad Johnson, because he's all about relationships.
What's one song that embodies you as a person, as a spirit?
I was going to say Don't Stop Believing, but I can't now. So I'm going to say Get Back Up Again, the theme song of Trolls.
What's your favorite quote?
This is the one currently. God is the artist. I just hold the paintbrush.
What is your favorite cheat food or sweet?
Hershey's with almonds.
What's your favorite TV show or book?
My favorite TV show is 2.5 Men. My favorite book is The Dead Zone, which asks the question, if you could change a horrible historic event, would you?
Oh, and how can people get a hold of you?
So I'm at roberthinchliff.com. You can get a hold of me anytime. I'm also Linktree Perspective Inc.
Awesome. Thank you, panel, for being here today. Appreciate it. It's awesome to learn from each and every single last one of you, because you know what? This iron is even sharper today thanks to all your voice, all your ideas, and everything that you do for the learning community in your area. Appreciate you being here. And remember, everybody out there, this is free PD for you. You don't have to go give a pint of blood to get a PO signed anymore. You don't have to promise your first grandchild to get a PO to go to a conference, because there's no money, so you can't go to conferences anymore. These are the avenues that you need to take right now to ensure that you get from top-notch level advice from people that have lived it and are in the trenches. They are in the trenches and making sure that they are getting their hands dirty and showing you, this is how you do it. This is how I learn. So remember, you're never alone. You choose to be alone. This is a great avenue for you, and we want you to be part of this. Make sure that you like it and share it, this podcast and all the past ones. And next week, what do we got next week? Oh, we got our lesson delivery with style, show number 2. We got John Coripo, Sean Kane, Eric Francis, and Ashley Hubner. Top-notch national presenters, once again, here for you. You don't need to get a PO. You don't need to be in the same hotel room with someone you didn't like from your PLN. You need to be at home with your favorite beverage, taking notes so that you become the best version of yourself. Because if you do that, then your kids will be rock and roll, they'll be stars, and they will be heading to the moon. Thank you. Say goodbye, panel, to everybody.
Bye.
Hold on, and thank you very much.